stuck with it here with this wood chipper, and I'm no more impressed having given it a very good go. You know me, I'm quite fair with the equipment. Let's put that help window back on. Sorry, I was doing screen shots. Start engine. We're not attached. Ah, there's a reason we're not attached. We're already up to 0.8, I think, on the lease time, and we have managed to make nearly a trailer, nearly 8,000 litres of wood chips in 0.8 of an hour. Let's check that, shall we? Where is the mad machine? 0.8 of an hour, which at the price that wood chips is at, and I've no idea particularly what is a good price or not. I mean, 200 per thousand. So we're going to make 1,600, and the lease on the machine was 2,200. So we might, if we maybe cover the money. The machine, I mean, in real life, you'd use a chipping machine this size to get rid of the rubbish when you were doing some landscaping, so you could move it a bit easier. A machine this size is just not meant for any kind of commercial production of wood chips. So I'll give it that, but I mean really, unless you want it to be really fussy and just get rid of the scraps like that, you can throw them in the sell point and get $50. It can't be any more beneficial to bother chipping them. I don't know. So we're going to just send this back. We're going to leave these pieces of wood. I'm going to throw them in the sell point one day. I bet I'll get more money than I would have done here, and I certainly won't be pulling my hair out. So I'm going to tidy up this mess, and we'll get on with the rest of today's harvest. And we've still got some stuff to do, including that influx of cows. We brought the trailer of wood chips back down to the farmyard. I'm actually going to keep hold of this trailer, so I'm going to unhitch it to stop the lease time ticking. And while I remember, I'm going to return 0.9 of an hour just in time. There you go away. Right, we're going to keep these wood chips. As I say, we've got to show the guy on audit day that we've got every available product in stock, so we need somewhere to keep them. I was just going to dump them in the shed at the far end of the farmyard with the inspection pit, but it wouldn't unload in there. Don't want to just plonk them down there, so let's have a look at what we can knock up in the placeables. God, the price of some of these placeables I don't often look through is ridiculous. 18,000 for a water tower. I believe that's the machine that a certain YouTuber has abused to make lots of money for his playthroughs. That's fair enough. The beehive, $20,000 for a beehive that gives you $8 a day. And there's a mod one that costs 500. Which would you choose? Greenhouses we may look at. But anyway, on to business. We have got here these old-fashioned brick storage bunkers. We're going to go for the double bunker for $2,000. We're going to spin it round. I think we've got a nice little spot for it just here. I've gone for the double because we're obviously going to have root crops to show as well. I am a bit fussy about this, so bear with me. Let's try and get that as straight as possible. Zoom in a little bit. You have to be careful when you're placing things. If you're looking through a piece of scenery, look, it counts. Look there. So make sure you do move your view around a little bit to get the best possible placement there. So there's no obstructions between the camera and the piece, which does make a difference. That looks as good as we're going to get that. Right. That all looks pretty cool. Let's have a little look. Now, I've not used this before, so I've no idea how safe it is. What we're also going to do, yeah, why not? It'll look good, it'll impress, I'm sure. We're going to build another one of these here sheds for $799. But let's see how we can we get them to match up. And now I know from experience I need to get my view around here so there's nothing in between me and the piece. Will this line up? How far back will this go? Oh, fantastic. There we go. I just want to try and get that middle. Oh. Told you I was fussy. Can we come across just a little bit more? There, that's fine by me. I'll take that. There you go. The higher roof might be handy for some trailers. The other thing about the Brantner is that it will back tip. The other two tippers that we've got are right or left only. So let's get these wood chips put away. I won't even have to consider them then for a few days. But as I say, if we're going to do wood chipping, we're doing poplar. I was just having a look. Was I disappointed that I've got that grass? It's not all on the tarmac, on the paving, but I'm not, because the way it's spaced between the shed is spaced between those two lampposts. I couldn't have aligned the bunkers with the shed. I'm quite sure. If you see it, bang in the middle between them. I think if I'd gone sort of either way, we would have had some kind of an issue. But there we go. Anyway, right. Let's just check the dump side is back. So dump here. And at least the other problem with some shelters and areas with a concrete floor, there you go, we can always tidy those up quickly with the bucket later, get them further into the back. We could have tipped that into the higher side maybe, that might have been sensible. Right, in fact what we're going to do, because this Brantner is going to be used as it's on lease as a backup trailer, we're just going to put him away in here. I'm thinking of the potato harvest and the snow blower, and making sure we've got a spare trailer in case we need to blow that snow blower out into something, as I demonstrated. Yeah. Right, let's get back to proper work, shall we? We've already only got one field left to harvest, the last field of the day, which is great. And the field team have taken very little attention. Sunflower field harvest and replanting went absolutely fine, no problems at all. And yeah, letting us get on with the other stuff, messing with the wood chipper of doom. Oh my word. No, we're not doing that again. What I started saying and got sidetracked as usual about placeable buildings, some of them have a concrete floor built into them. Unfortunately, I've found that many of them, if you tip a crop or fertilizer seed, etc., onto the floor, it goes through that concrete floor, and then you can't really get to it. So that is something to bear in mind. It's a pity, but there you go. Such is life. So they're great for putting vehicles and equipment in. You want things looking spick and span, but don't use one for storing crop, etc. Right. Just going to do this headland here. Bring him back, let him go, and that should be all we need to do with him. I shall leave that to you, sir. The Schlurter is waiting. The 200C. Right, here we are with the Zeta Forterra. He stopped up here by the chickens, because yet again they've been look at this, it's like egg fest. I do like omelettes. So that's okay. Right, what I was thinking was we've got this little shelter here. We couldn't really use it before because technically it came under the jurisdiction of the Ministry of Forestry and was attached to that woodland there. But since they now come under us, we can use it. Now what I was thinking of, I mean, if you have a look, the Paul's Eater, this cedar, they're filthy. We don't like filthy equipment. Nobody likes filthy equipment. So we're going to spend one more little piece of money on one more placeable today. And it's going to be a little wash point. Just like the one we got in the yard, but just one we can use when we're up here. And we might increasingly, who knows, as we expand, be using this shed for storage. It is just across the street from the sunflower field, right by the woods. Who knows? Right, we'll just get the 10-meter one. Now I thought about putting it away up here, making it a little bit organised. But you know what I'm going to do? We're part of the community here. We are going to put our washing point right next to the highway, opposite the petrol station, so anyone can use it, as long as they don't get in our way. How's that? Community service. So we can get this guy cleaned. And I know the seed is a piece of lease equipment, and you might think, well, why bother? But I'll actually tell you from my experience, if you see a farmer really cleaning a piece of equipment in his yard with a jet washer, I'd probably be willing to bet you at least a pint of beer that is a piece of lease equipment that's about to get picked up, because they make sure they go back spotless. Yes, whereas maybe the farm's equipment, you know, isn't quite so pampered. But yeah, I guess it's part of the lease agreement. You send it back as clean as when it was dropped off, and that can take some doing depending on what the ground conditions have been like, obviously. Right, lovely. Cultivator's going to stay clean for about 30 seconds, but you know, there you go. So our 130 horsepower, I think technically it's 129 horsepower Zeta here, has been the most powerful tractor on the farm. The Schlerter now beats it with 150. And of course the Schlerter has its very own engine sound, which I think is unique to it, and I do quite like it. And again, I'm quite sure we don't want to be planting sunflowers up here, though, do we? We're going to go for the soy, reliable soy. Talking of which, I'm waiting to sell the soy harvest today. The prices are crazy. I mean, I reloaded the game, fair enough, but not that long ago, the price at the mill was over 900. It was nearly 1,000, and now, yeah, it's very odd. In fact, transport company is now the best price. That's just around the corner. It's just too, I don't know, what's the word, random to even bother to try to plan for. It really is. If I could, I would. Right, let's cut through the playground, the deserted playground. There'll be children back in Sosnovka one day. Come on, some of you guys, get together. Some beautiful people, make some beautiful babies. So down to the transport company we've come with our 28,000 litres. This is basically every field on the farm apart from the sunflowers, remember. We're going to look in on the prices. Transport company, sunflowers now gone up to 871 at the transport company. We've got 925 here for the soy, up and down like a yo-yo. We'll take it, thank you very much. I wonder, I've got to send the train obviously and get the money. If something happened to the price in between, would I get the price when I've dropped it, or the price when the train gets wherever it gets to? I have no idea, and I'm not going to worry about it. The most important thing is that once this train gets to our destination, its destination, off you go, we will have a lot of credit in our account. So we've got top fields to finish planting. We're going to meet up with the Schlerter at the Ministry of Logistics for the final part of our day. There we are, $26,141 from the soy. We've got $76,000 Firstly, we've got about 80,000 litres of solid manure down at the cows now. Remember, I had to redo the playthrough due to the corrupted save. So in this universe, we've never used the manure or the slurry. So we've got 100,000 slurry, 80,000 manure. We're going to use some. What I'm going to do, I'm going to make a deal with you. I'm not going to buy the cheapest one, or at least the cheapest one, but I am going to auto refill it. You saw me chase around after major muck out when I did it manually. There's no need to do that. No. So we are going to lease this $2,000. We're going to take him down to the farm. It's a nice piece of kit. It's a mod. Gyrax. It's got a nice decent sized capacity. The cheaper ones, if you do want to do things manually, yeah, as you've seen, lots of backwards and forwards. This is a nice machine. So here we are back at the farm pretending to fill it up. But we're going to turn on refill manure from the cow manure heap. And all of these fields need their post-planting fertilizing. So let's see how far we can get. Now, because I've got no manure in it, I've got to leave it completely to the worker. So we'll just leave it there, that's fine to start with. Right, and we're going to leave him just to get on. Okay, the little Zeta has got the Bruno animal trailer we used previously, and we're going to buy ourselves some cows. We currently have 58 of the splendid beasts. We are going to buy, this trailer takes 4 at a time. We're going to do 4 loads, 16. It's going to take us up to 74. Now you may be thinking, but look, 16 at 5,000 each, but we get a good deal. We're a collective now. We get our cows for 4,300, so we'll buy 4 of those. Now the clock is running. We're going to do 4 trips. We've got an hour. It's going to be okay. I have left the fertilizer spreader guy between fields just while we get some of these done, because I don't want the wages to tick the money under the amount we needed to get the 16 cows. So that's something to bear in mind, especially at the very beginning of the game. If you get on your first day and set your workers off, you can suddenly find that your money has gone slightly below where you'd plan to spend it, and you're a little bit stuck. So we are going to do 4 trips of beautiful cows. It's quite a jump. 56 to 74 is not quite 50%. It's going to be 40 odd percent, 40% more work, but that's easy. These cows have not exactly pushed us so far, have they? Confirmed. We're going to get on with this. I'll meet you when we're bringing the 4th load back down, shall I? Go and meet your new friends, ladies. Here we are with the last 4 beautiful cows, beautiful bovines. We'll have 74. The workers are now working. We've just got the guy finishing seeding the field of soy right at the top end of the farm, behind the buildings by the shelter. And we got Manure Man in the Schlurter, who's still down here. But be interesting to see after those 2 fields how much manure we've got left. We started with bang on 80,000, which seems quite a lot, but it just takes a while to build back up. That's why buying slurry tankers and buying manure spreaders has been a bit of a thing you didn't really want to rush into. However, now we do have as mods a slurry sell point and a manure sell point, both of which are great, and they're cheaper than using bagged fertilizer. If they had been available when I started this playthrough, I certainly would have considered using one. They're a good way of getting going. Right, we're done. We have 74 cows. I think we probably need to wait for the simulation to tick to update the reproduction rate, etc. Where are we? We're down to nearly 60,000, so we've used a quarter, nearly, of the manure. And manure spreader man, it's got halfway, nearly halfway across this field. So yeah, he might get on and get some more fields done. We'll see. What we do need to remember to do is to send back the Bruno 0.1 of an hour. Saved us a lot of money. We bought 16. What would that have cost us? 3,200 in transportation costs from the dealer. We spent 700. Now, the disadvantage of not actually having any manure in here is that if you've got a field like this one, where the worker is going to be a bit wary of the boundaries, you can't just go around manually and do those bits. You've got to trick the worker into doing it, which is basically what I'm doing here. And some bits are easier than others. He doesn't, yeah, he's not like... Would he use that manure that's actually in here before he was doing his pickup from the... Oh, go on. That's fine. I think we might get away with that, actually. Let's have a look. If you'll run this way now. What I was saying was, if I'd put some manure in here, but had the worker switch to pick it up from the cow manure pile, would he have done so, leaving the manure in here, or would he have used the manure in here first? There's something we need to try, isn't it? Inquiring minds need to know. Right, we want a bit of an overlap here, just so we get that patch. So yeah, this is, what was this, semi-automatic fertilizing. See, that bit might be an issue. Let's see. No, we haven't tried starting him this way yet. Straight in there, go on, be brave. Perfect, look at that, he stopped there as well. And then if we get one more run, you see again what I mean about the growth stages on the fields. That worker just ran across this field. I reseeded him. Refilled him with seed well over in this section. So any delay was momentary and not where those crops have decided they're actually going to be ready to harvest about 4 or 5 hours apart. So anyway, get this one run. We can get better whips than that. And then we've got a little bit more back over here to do. Go on. It may not be the most scientifically accurate coverage, but with the situation I've put myself into, it's the best I've got. Right, we should now be able to hopefully get a run straight down this field. I think about here should be appropriate. It should be overlapping and then match up here somewhere. Doesn't matter. How much have we got left? How much are we using? We're down to 33,000. Used nearly 50,000 already. Right, sack the worker. We need to go this way. Manipulation, and we'll have this field done. I thought this was going to be harder to get fully covered. I thought I might have to bring the other... Oh, no, see, he doesn't like... We're in the telegraph pole zone now. So we don't need a full width from him. So let's squeeze him over here. Go on, go past. No. Where will you start? Spreading. Okay, from there Ugh. Fine. Maybe going this way, we'll get this last little patch. Not be much, is it? Look, that's tiny. Insignificantly tiny. There you go. Done. On to the next field. But we didn't make it up to the next field yet. If you just look on the map here at the soil composition, I tricked myself here. You see the top half of this field is 3 times fertilised. These guys down here are 2 times fertilised, which is what I expected, and the grass patch, they're going to get weeded later. Obviously the cedar up here, I did kind of forget, fertilised as it went. Now as we saw, the line here is where this half of the field has gone through a growth stage, and this hasn't. So because of that, the fertiliser I've just put on there is wasted because it doesn't count. Okay, that's fair enough. But what is really confusing me, and I've stopped here, this field of canola next to us here, that hadn't gone yellow when we built this here washing point at about 5:05. In fact, I think I did notice some of the fields rotating to the growth stage at 5:15, okay? The thing is, we had absolutely definitely, because we built this thing with the big Zeta up here after it had finished the sunflower field, it had definitely replanted that whole field. Then, sometime afterwards, the fields have all gone through a growth stage up here. So how has the second half of that field back there not gone through a growth stage with the rest of the field? Because it was definitely planted before this canola turned yellow. I really don't know. I mean, it's not the end of the world. It does mean that half of that field's going to be ready to harvest now, 4 to 5 hours of game time before the other half, which you can work around. But I really don't get how only half of that field went through a growth stage when this field here went through its growth stage when that field was complete. But whatever. So we're going to stop here. We're going to give the guy a little bit of a spruce up while we're here. We can get through to the jet wash. Yeah, so we need to wait for the weeding and for this guy to finish. And when he does the next 2 fields, that'll be the 3rd stage of fertilisation on both of them. So the weeder won't need to come up here. So we're just going to wait here. We're going to unhitch the trailer so the lease time isn't ticking. And we just need to wait now because there's very little we can do until it cycled to the next growth stage. With nearly 5 hours later, I think this field is going to go to the next growth stage at about 10 past 10, 22:10, somewhere around there. Another thing though, I obviously had to spread this manure with a worker because I had none. And since one of workers refertilised stuff that's already counted as fertilised and hasn't gone through a growth stage, is it because it's another type of fertiliser? It still hasn't even rotated, look. So that's 5 hours delay now. There you go. Right, let's stop the fast forwarding. So this guy can now put the 3rd fertiliser on here. Or will he or not? I don't know. Let's see. This shouldn't now count as being fertilised. And we should be able to even see on the map him putting in the 3rd layer now. Yeah, there you go, that little section there. If we go back on the map now and zoom in over here. Yeah, so he's doing that. I don't understand why the worker did it. He should have just refused. I mean, sometimes I've had situations where I go back to fertilise a field that hasn't gone through a growth stage and I'm mashing the B button going, why won't you hire, why won't you hire? So change of material, I guess. So let's just see how this guy gets on. I'm sure he's going to need a bit of help. He's not though. Look, he's doing it. He's doing very well. Which means we can head down here and get our little friend here out with the weeder. And all he's got to worry about is these 2 fields. Right, helper C thinks he's completed his task, but I'm not so sure. Weeder. Put some lights on. That's appropriate, isn't it? Oh, that's not opening the weeder, is it? So I've been playing quite a lot today, and I do have a little bit of an issue. It's one of the reasons I don't play too much World of Tanks anymore. And COD I can play in fits and starts. Basically, if my fingers do too much quick stuff, they cramp. It's meant that Forza, a game that I love, and that even if I do blow my own trumpet, and I mean proper Forza, not that silly Horizon arcade, even more arcadey. I played that new Forza 4, and you can win every race with one car. It's very ridiculous, and I mean one car, like a rally car with jacked up suspension and dirt tyres. You can win a street race, so that just makes the whole game a bit silly to me. He's off, right. But the point I was trying to make was Forza Motorsport, which I do enjoy and I'm quite good at. Certainly with a controller, there's no way I can play that game manually, with a manual gearbox, because no, my fingers last about 10 minutes. Looking to me like we just need to run across the bottom of this field. Now it's dark and there's a growth stage. Manual fertilising is a bit of a nightmare. Right, can we get across here? I think if we can get all the way across the bottom of here, we are done. The last two fields obviously will be much easier to do, because they haven't got they haven't got the different growth stages to consider, and there are no real field boundary issues over there. Oh yeah, do a bit of a diagonal, there you go. Let's just have a look on the map. I think that's probably mostly done. It's a messy business, I'm afraid. There you go, we're going to call that field done. We'll get up to the next one. So that's one of the reasons I like Farm Simulator. It's kind of nice and gentle on my brain and on my hands. But World of Tanks, I may show you a bit. I'm thinking of playing again. There's an event on with some stuff in it that I want. Garage slots. And maybe a tank, but we'll see. So I might record a bit of that. And I haven't played for months, so it's quite odd, that game. I'm basically going to call quite a new account as well. I got given a voucher, card or whatever, 3 years Microsoft Gold. So I put it to this DadX account, which now has its own little fledgling World of Tanks account compared to my main account. Yeah, it's quite interesting going back to that lower level stuff. The game, again, has changed a lot since it first launched, but we're not here really to talk about World of Tanks. We'll talk about that in the World of Tanks video, shall we? Right, so now we're happily fertilising. How much have we got left now? We've still got 20,000 left, so I'm thinking we're going to get these two fields done no problem without 80,000. It's a bit of variety. I mean, you can see there's no way you'd be using a fertiliser spreader up here that you had to take all the way back to the main farm to reload. What they actually do with manure in the field behind my house, it happens once or twice a year. They bring truck after truck after truck of manure up and dump it probably about 40 yards from our house. It has its own odour, which you get used to. And they just refill with they just leave a front loader there all day with the manure spreader doing its thing. Now why are you stopping here? Tank is empty. There's no way your tank is empty, mate. What are you on about? Cow manure heap. 17,269. Well, there's an odd one, hey. Am I out of range? This is getting curiouser and curiouser. Soil composition. Right, the bit we've done is now 3 times fertilized. Let's just, I don't know. Well, here we are, and for some reason, sometime later, this guy has decided that there is manure left in the cow manure bunker, so he's using it now. Now his tank is empty again. Oh, it's weird, look. Here's the manure, it's right here. We can pick it up and play with it. I'm a little bit confused. Another Sosnovka mystery. Well, there you go. I mean, this is all we've got left to do. No, look. There's an issue. Not to worry. I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to stop faffing with this guy. We're just going to park him up here. Let's check the prices. We might keep that manure spreader overnight if it's not going to cost us a chunk of money. What's his overnight rate? $250. Yeah, we're going to just see if it's better in the morning. So for now, we'll just let the good old Big Zeta do the honours up here with the pellet. Whatever. And the engines do keep cutting out, which actually keeps catching me out now, because I expect them to still be running, because I never switch them off. I don't know if it does burn much fuel, but in seasons it matters. I quite like having the lights left on, etc. So we're just going to sit the rest of the evening out here. Now I don't like seeding with the time accelerated. If you seed a field at over 5 times speed, say 15 times speed like we are now, you will make for yourself that whole issue of the growth stages being split up and blah blah blah. Fertilizing, obviously it really doesn't matter. So let's just truck on to midnight just to have a little look. Whilst we're getting there, let's look at the animal screen. We're the proud owners, custodians of 74 cows. We're making 1.5 cows a day. So by next audit day, we'll have 80 cows, no matter what. And yeah, that's going to be good. We're up to 24 pigs. We're making 3 pigs a day every 6 hours. So we're going to be up to 30 in a couple of days. And then we can look at maybe selling off the surplus as per our instructions. We are going to have to start working maybe a little bit more for the cows. If you look at the numbers there, grass, they're going to need maybe a bale a day, a little bit more. We'll see how we get on with the mixing wagon. But yeah, the cows are going to become a little bit more labour consuming. But they're worth it, aren't they? The other good thing about the state we're in now is that at midnight, our money will go up because our milk income exceeds the daily overheads that come out. So even if we ended up in the red, let's see, we're on $2,300 right now. Is it bedtime? Night night. You know, shouldn't really be shining the torch on sleepy cows, could get them quite agitated. You need a wash. Got a rear end like a dirty Zeta. Here we go. $16,500 of milk sold. Daily expenses out, and we've gone up about $6,400, $500. There you go. Well, it's been an odd day. We've had some strange experiences in this episode and the last with some new equipment that we've tried. But it's all experience. So we'll call it all good. So thank you very much for joining us. We'll be back in Sosnovka soon. Our income is such that we can, experiment, expand, and have a bit of a muck about. Leave a comment if you'd like to suggest anything that you'd like to see us try. Subscribe if you'd like to stay in touch, and like the video if you liked it, of course. So from us, from Sosnovka, for now, goodbye.